with an agreement.
With those words, tensions building for months ease, light at the end of a long, dark tunnel.
Somebody has got to step in and help the residents of Caledonia and restore law and order.
The quest for peace between Native and non-Native Canadians. Straight Talk starts now. Hello, I'm Connie Smith, and welcome to Straight Talk. Now, as we speak, an escalation of tensions in Caledonia has nerves frayed and is triggering renewed fears of violence. Over the last 18 months, we've all followed the dramatic developments in the ongoing land claim disputes in Caledonia and now Brantford. Protests at housing developments, fractured communities, undermined economies, feelings of fear, anger, frustrations, and hostility. Let's begin with a quick recap of the most recent history. Police investigations underway after a serious assault on a man building a home for his daughter in a housing development in Brantford. Ontario's Aboriginal Affairs Minister says the province considers the confrontation unacceptable and has boycotted talks with Ottawa that were scheduled for this weekend. Sam Galtieri remains in hospital. The Six Nations Iroquois Confederacy comes up with a plan. According to this news release, in an effort to oversee development of Six Nations lands and resources within the Haldimand Tract, a process created by the Confederacy to work with developers caught in a, quote, void by Canada and Ontario's failure to resolve Six Nations land rights, unquote. Now, the protocol has been criticized, though, even called extortion. My guest this week, Aaron Detler, spokesperson for the Confederacy Haudenosaunee Development Institute. Welcome, Aaron. And Hazel Hill, a Native spokesperson and negotiations spokesperson. Welcome to you both. A quick question off the top. Are we closer or farther apart in resolving our differences this year than we were a year ago? Who'd like to begin?
I think we'd have to say that we're closer. I think we're taking a positive step in trying to close the gap that unfortunately has been left by Ontario and Canada. Right now, the development community, the people of Caledonia, the people all throughout the tract don't have anywhere to turn to get some certainty in their lives. And what we put together with the Development Institute is a way to try and get that certainty that is consistent with Haudenosaunee principles.
It involves money.
Yes, it does. It involves looking at the original purpose for the leasing of the land that belongs to the Haudenosaunee, and those leases entailed the perpetual care and maintenance of the Haudenosaunee. We're really looking to make sure that that principle is upheld.
How do you respond to cries of extortion?
We don't respond because we're not going to get into a debate about whether or not we have the jurisdiction. Certainly a developer goes to a municipality, a developer goes to the Grand River Conservation Authority, and we're doing the same thing. We have developers coming to our door. The discussion around extortion is a sidetrack. We have developers there. We have developers ready to talk and ready to do deals, and we're going to go forward on that principle.
All right,
I think
Hazel.
the other thing that you have to look at, too, is the fact that Canada has been collecting monies and utilizing our land as a form of building its own economy. And so when you talk about extortion, you have to look at both sides of it and actually look at who are the extortionists.
You've been at the table with the negotiators, Hazel, for a number of months now. As we now understand it, the negotiations are not on at all this weekend then?
This week the negotiations have been suspended due to the unfortunate incident that happened, but as far as I understand, they're going to be resuming at the beginning of October.
How do you feel about that incident, Hazel?
I think it's very regrettable. I think that our people are a peace-loving people. We're a people of integrity and honor, and that I think that sometimes what happens is the frustration that's been building at the lack of respect and response from Ontario and Canada to, I guess, heed the advice of our Confederacy representatives that stopping development, stop issuing permits. You know, it seems they look at our people with our peaceful demonstrations as some sort of direct action. Well, every time the shovel goes in the ground, that's direct action against our people. And there's a lot of frustration when our people see the continued development so close to home in areas that the provincial and federal government know are on unceded territory. It's in with our jurisdictional rights. So it's a sad thing that's happened, but I think that this development institution is something that we can all move forward with.
I want to ask you, Hazel, about the people that live along the Haldimand Tract now, and we've got a depiction that actually shows, according to the HDI, the actual land that is included in this tract, Aaron, and this is from mouth to source along the Grand River. Perhaps you can just explain the parameters of that.
That's
first.
correct. as you have the map up now, it's got 3 different zones, and it tracks approximately the Haldimand Proclamation and the land that was granted by way of a re-recognition of jurisdiction to the Haudenosaunee in 1784. And what we've tried to do is start there with that area, and it's important to note that the Haudenosaunee jurisdiction doesn't simply stop at the Haldimand Tract. There are other instruments, legal and otherwise, that recognize Haudenosaunee jurisdiction over much, much greater tracts of land. But we needed to start somewhere, and we needed to start with something that people could understand, both in our community and in the community of Ontario and Canadians.
How many people do you think live along that tract? We've
estimated it now at approximately 2 million people.
What do we do with those people?
We work with them. We work with them to find solutions.
What about the people that live there now in houses and communities, their generations before them? I'm just trying to find out realistically, like, what do we do with those people?
Well, we've made it very clear where it's not about going and removing people from their homes and that, but it is about the recognition of our land rights. And the basis of this Development Institute is to make sure those land rights are recognized. And yes, land user fees, renewing leases that have been suspended for whatever reasons. As we work through this negotiation process, the developers and the Canadian citizens out there need some reassurance that their homes that they've built and generations, like you've said, we understand that, we respect that, but all we're asking is that the respect be given to the original title holders, and that for whatever reason the Crown has neglected their responsibilities, and we're here to help bring some resolution in a peaceful way to it.
So as I understand it then, life will go on for anyone who lives anywhere along the Grand River in your vision of a resolution, right? Their lives will not change in any way?
I don't know whether their lives are going to change, because one of the things that
change for the better.
It should be for the better.
How? Tell me
and well, the municipalities, for one, have a responsibility to those citizens in their districts, and it's not okay for those municipalities to continue issuing permits on land that they know are within the Six Nations jurisdiction. And as long as they keep doing that, they're creating the animosity, they're creating the turmoil, they're creating the frustration. And so if the municipalities step up and start working with the Haudenosaunee, as we anticipate, as the provincial and federal government should be, then life should go on. Life should be normal for those people. They should be able to go to work and not worry about. And you know what? We have a lot of residents within Brantford, Caledonia, all up and down the Grand that also are concerned about the environment. They're concerned about this continued development in their backyards. They're concerned about these big highways that are coming in. So there's a lot of people that are respecting and supporting the Haudenosaunee in our assertion of our jurisdiction.
So you don't want to stop development in that area. You don't want violence. You don't want to interrupt people's lifestyles. Am I correct?
We have to be careful about when we say stopping development. We haven't gotten to the point yet where the developers, at least the municipality, are starting to recognize the jurisdiction. There are areas, to be quite clear and frank with you and your viewers, that we don't anticipate development occurring. No more houses. We need space. We need land. The Haudenosaunee were not consulted by the province with respect to the Ontario Places to Grow Act. So what we've done in essence is take that and said, well, where do we grow? And that's a fair and legitimate concern. And when we go out and talk to people within the tract, and we say we need a places to grow, there's a lot of residents. They understand that. They understand the need to have space to grow. When
you say to grow, Aaron, what are you contemplating, or what do you mean exactly?
Well, right now, if you want to get a house and you want to build a house on what sometimes is referred to as the reserve, it's very difficult. There are approximately 20,000 members, give or take a few thousand there, and it's literally become almost impossible to purchase a piece of land to build.
So we're talking about extending
our residential areas. Right. Absolutely. We need places for our future generations to be able to call home.
After the break, the role of the clan mothers as the quest for peace in Caledonia, in Brantford, in Canada continues. We'll be right back.
Steve obviously is feeling threatened by the situation, and he wants it to end. We also have the native protesters saying they will not stop this. And
they started a war! They want war!
As tensions heightened this past week over the Caledonia and now Brantford native land disputes, we're spending 30 minutes away from the front lines in this ongoing conflict, searching for an understanding of the issues involved. Haudenosaunee Development Institute spokesperson Aaron Dethlor and Native Negotiations spokesperson Hazel Hill, my guest this week. I want to talk a little bit about the two of you individually. Hazel, tell us about yourself. You're a mother, you're a grandmother. I want to know about your growing